Hi, my name is Sam Johnson and I'm a voice teacher. I'm going to be reacting to and analyzing Meghan Tonjes singing Adele, When We Were Young. Meghan asked me to do this video, but I haven't heard it before. I haven't heard her sing before, so I'm going to try to use this to just be as objective as I can and give as much constructive criticism as I can, and just explain what awesome things she's doing.
Everybody loves the things you do, from the way you talk to the way you move. Everybody here is watching you, 'cause you feel like home. You're like a dream come true. But if by chance you're here alone.
She has a really gentle voice, especially, we haven't gone high yet, and all of this has been right below her passaggio or fairly below her passaggio, but she's not pressing into any of those notes. She's keeping them really gentle, which is actually setting her up well for higher notes later on. Because if you're not over compressing at your low notes, a lot of times when people start going up towards high notes, they try to start over compressing to make the high notes happen. So if we don't over compress the low notes, then your high notes can stand that little bit of extra compression that you might be giving them. So that's a really nice trick sometimes if you feel like you're just yelling all your high notes, is check if your low notes are feeling good too, because usually we can just get away with it a little bit easier with our low notes, but it's the same problem of just pushing into it a little bit too much. She's not doing that. She sounds really good so far. She does have a little bit of a quicker vibrato than I was expecting. I'm not sure why she has that sound in her vibrato, but it's not unpleasant to my ears, and I don't think that it's going to wreck anything. It's just that listening to it, it's going to start bringing my attention to her breath a little bit more and to her chord closure level, because usually if you can match those two really well, then you're going to get a little bit different sounding vibrato to what she had.
Can I have a moment before I go? 'Cause I've been by myself all night long, hoping you're someone I used to know. You look like a movie, you sound like a song, my God.
I liked that time when she went to sound because she kept a little bit more connection, not to chest voice, but just more chord closure when she went up to that rather than disconnecting a little bit or going to a lighter place up at the top. I really like what she did right there. I think that sets her up for the next part to be really successful.
This reminds me of when we were young. Let me photograph you in this light in case.
See, there's still connection through all of that.
So we might be exactly like we were before we realized we were sad.
So at this point, I really like the sound. The tone is nice, it's pleasant, it's consistent all the way through. It's not like it's going from just like weird, crazy extremes without any use, without any musical purpose. So I like what she's doing so far. I do think that if she added a little bit more chord closure, because it's light, it's connected, but it's light, so that means that her vocal cords aren't coming together quite as much as I think that they could. And if she was able to do that, I think she would have a little bit more dynamic expression, because I still hear just a little bit of extra air getting through.
Getting old, it made us restless. It was just like a...
And you can hear it as she comes back down, where if she had a little bit more of that chord closure at the super top of her range, or the top of the range of the song that she's singing, when she comes back down, she can just hold on to that little bit of chord closure, rather than if she doesn't have that chord closure, it's harder to start reintroducing it later as you start going down, because it puts it in a less than balanced state, and it's just so much harder. So it's much easier to prepare for wherever you're going, know where you're headed, but know where you're starting to, and what you need to do to get to where you're headed. It just kind of sounded like she was more concerned with the high note than with the rest of the phrase. And I think that if you change your thought process to thinking about the rest of the phrase, rather than just how you start, or rather than just a high note, think about how it all fits together, and I think that would improve pretty much everything with it. It's small changes, and at this point, a lot of the changes that I'm giving her might just feel a little different rather than changing the sound completely. But if we can make it feel easier, then it's worth it.
It was just like a song.
I love those vowels on just, that was very narrow.
I never could do that which might hurt you. So try and be cool.
Nice.
When I say this way.
Because she is in this lighter place, whenever she does engage a little bit of extra chord closure, it's not a bad thing. It's not like tension or anything, but it just balances the amount of air and muscle. Like when she was doing that little run, it actually got less breathy because she found a more balanced place from it. I would love for you to find that place through the whole song a little bit more, where it's a little bit less breathy and more of that just tight, really nice, connected, low, like small breath flow, not very much air getting through, but just fast. I think that if we could get that through your whole voice, then it would give you a lot more control.
Hey, is a water slide away from me that takes you further every day. So be cool. You still look like a movie. You still sound like a song.
These songs work really well together.
My God, this reminds me when we were young. Let me photograph you in this light in case it is the last time. So we might be exactly like we were before we realized we were sad at getting old.
Good, yeah, she sounds really, really nice. I mean, there's nothing that she's doing that's super wrong. It's just that when I hear voices that are only going up to high notes without a lot of power and that aren't exploring those options, I kind of wonder why. Like, is it because you feel like you can't go louder, or is it a musical choice? And if it's a musical choice, it's always the right choice, because if you're just intentional about making a choice, that's the right choice, and that's helping you be expressive and original. But if you are going up to those notes all the time and there's not very much power behind it, I want to give you the option to be able to do that. So that's why I think we need just a little bit more chord closure throughout basically your whole range, because it's good, it's even, but we need to just start pressing into it a little bit more. Also, I just wanted to point out, this is going through a condenser microphone. This is probably being recorded separate from the camera, and so there's a chance of adding some different effects on top of that raw file after she sings it. You can hear, because it's just a little bit smoother than it would sound if you were in that room with that exact acoustic setup and everything. It's just, there were computers used, and if there aren't, Megan, I'm sorry, but let me know, but that's what it sounds like. So if you're trying to compare your sound exactly to what she sounds like, it's not going to be one for one. It doesn't mean that what she did was wrong. It doesn't mean that it was bad. It's just that if you're looking at it as a way to study what is happening with the voice, this isn't a complete representation of it, and you need to start learning how to listen to it and think about what effects have been added to it, and then take those away in your mind so that you can get back to and like reverse engineer what she actually sounds like without any amplification, without any extra computers in the room, because that's the only real way that you can start making significant changes to your voice, or hearing what's going wrong and what's going not wrong, what's going well, so that you can choose what you need to do to smooth that out a little bit more. That's just from a technical analysis standpoint. If we're looking at it from an enjoying the music standpoint, then there's nothing wrong with what she did, and I think that it makes it a better product overall at the end.
It made us restless. It was just like a movie. It was just like a song. When we were young. When we were young.
See there? She was letting a little less air out. Sometimes I wonder if you're jutting out your chin on E vowels. E.
In case it is the last time, so we might be exactly like we were before we realized when we were young, when we were young, when we were young, when we were young, when we were young.
And then when she goes to those young vowels, she's kind of pulling it back. When we were young, and it's like coming out a little bit wider. I think if you kept it more like how you'd speak it, when we were young, it would kind of help that part, just because it sounds like there's a little bit of extra strain being introduced to it, or because it's the end of a line, you might be running out of air or something. And so doing these things to reduce the impact of like losing support or whatever is happening because of the phrase is helpful for everything, because then you don't have to fix multiple things. So I think just a little bit more natural vowel on that. And then I'm also seeing just a little bit of chin coming out. So just see if you can like relax your jaw a little bit more and just let it hinge down and back like you just were at the dentist and everything is super duper wacky for a little bit. Nice. Yeah, that was really cool. I love the arrangement. I think putting those two songs together is really clever. They work together just topically and everything just kind of works. It also shows how simple a lot of the songs that we love are, where there are just overlapping chord progressions for basically all of pop music. And it gives the ability to collaborate or to combine these things in different ways than the original artist might have intended. And I think that can give some different perspectives to the song. And I think that's cool. So you had a really consistent sound all the way through. It was just light all the way through. So I would try to add in a little more chord closure to make sure that helps things. And that does kind of go back to what I was saying about the vibrato earlier, because I think that if you had more chord closure or more resistance to this air, then it wouldn't be an inconsistent vibrato. It's just a little bit like small and fast compared to what like a really balanced vibrato sounds like to me. So I think that we could make that change and it would actually smooth out that vibrato and help you with your breath support. It would help you not lose air through phrases. So really, really nice sound, really expressive, creative with combining the songs. But I think we can just keep going and adding more layers onto it. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Go check out my description below where I have links to my Patreon, which gives you access to a Discord, which is where most people submit their fan videos. And that's where I choose any of the ones that were going to appear on my channel. So if you go sign up for that, that would be awesome. I also have links to my Instagram and I have a link to my website, vocalease.net, where you can go if you're interested in signing up for a voice lesson with me. And I know that there aren't slots available because I'm really, really booked, but I would still love for you to try. And yeah, thank you.